Hi guys, hi YouTube world, hi friends, hi folks just stopping in and listening. If you're here for the live or for the replay, my name is Jen. I'm the Incognito Gypsy. We do all kinds of things here, and I have a huge interest and love for true crime and have for a very long time. And it's something I've been heavily involved in most of my life. I've just always been very interested in the psychology of things and the workings of the mind. So, moving my stool under my table, that is not me or the dogs doing anything crazy. But I've wanted to do this for a while and just put it aside for a little bit. But really, really happy and excited. If I am, see if you can hear, if I'm double, let me know. I think I do have YouTube open, but it's so weird to me when I'm streaming here. I can't immediately tell like if it's streaming through YouTube. I'm just not, don't have enough experience yet with StreamYard. So just going to wait on a couple of my peeps to pop in and let me know that things are sounding good and we're doing good. And hopefully we'll be able to just jump in and go from there. So hope everybody's having a great Thursday. So funny. Of course, I'm having a little contact issue this morning. It just never fails. So several folks said they wanted to pop in, so I'm just going to chill out for a minute and see if that happens. I wanted to do this in StreamYard in case other folks wanted to come up. Also, I wanted to see, y'all, I just can't get it right this morning. I wanted to see if I am able to share my screen with you guys because I do want to show you some photos and play some things. I'm so worried about the YouTube, like echoing my voice. Yay! Holla! How you doing, Lala? Hey, can you tell me? I do have YouTube open. Can you tell me if it's doing that wonky thing? I trust you. I know you won't lead me astray. But I wonder, like, is it going through YouTube? I mean, you found me on YouTube, obviously, so it's going through YouTube. Weird. I think it's because I haven't hit that button, go live in YouTube, and I did that last time. So I think it was trying to stream two different places. So hopefully this is all working out. Yay! How are you, Lala? I hope you're doing well. I know, are you traveling? Seems like I heard you might be, or heard you say that you might be like going out of town or on a trip or something. So if so, I hope you're having a blast and I hope the weather's nice and I wish you traveling grace and safety and your whole crew, whoever you're with. Awesome to hear. Okay, let me ask you this. If I want to share something on my screen, Lala, I'm probably going to have to edit this down some. Planning a trip to Belize. Good Lord, I want to go. We need to plan a trip sometime, like have a girls group to say, you know what, let's do it. Let's all meet at such and such. That way it's neutral ground. They'll all meet here, you know, get our own room, spend time together, see if we could really get along or if we all just kill each other. Might be a whole new true crime series. Joking. All right. Well, I don't want to wait much longer. So I think I'm going to get going. You know, Incognito had a class. She had some things going on, so she will not be here until sometime after 2. And hoping that Durf will pop in. Thank you, Lala. Thanks so much for your help. Message me and let me know what your favorite drink is, and I'll cash app you, buy you a drink. Have a great day. Okay, well, I'm going to get started because people can watch the replay. I'm going to try to edit out a bunch of this in the beginning, figuring out StreamYard, but I really appreciate your patience if you're watching. Appreciate the help. So I have wanted to talk about this murder of Faith Hedgepeth for a while. I only dug deeply into it recently, and we all have different reasons for why we are interested in things or something draws our attention. Those allergies are trying, but I'm not going to let them win. So one of the reasons for me is she's was a month younger than my daughter. My daughter was also in college at the time. They were only, just a piece away from each other. My daughter went to NC State. Faith Hedgepeth went to UNC Chapel Hill. So just, that alone just kind of drew me to the case. I think it got quiet. I think people almost forgot about this because the case was still very early. It did not want a lot of details out. And I understand there's multiple reasons for that. But that, as things came out in this case, it just got weirder and weirder. So really excited to discuss it and have some of your input and, just see if we can come up with our own analysis of this case. So I'm very excited. Here we go. First True Crime Live. Woohoo! Okay. So one thing I always want to do anytime, and we'll do this towards the end. Hopefully we'll have time and won't have to end abruptly or anything like that. But one thing I always want to do is just mention that any case that we talk about, this is someone's family. This is someone's child. So I think we have to be very mindful in the fact that, yes, it's an older case. This happened in 2012, but I still want to be mindful that, there are parents in this case. I can't seem to get it right. There we go. There are parents in this case. There's, I think, an older sibling in this case. There are close friends and family. So just always want to say, let's just in honor of them, I want to be very respectful of how we say things and what we say here. So I'm just going to take off. I've written some notes down. I feel like I know a good bit about this case, but there are several things that I probably won't mention today. Tomorrow, I want us just to look at timeline and establish those kinds of things. And then next week, we'll start looking at possible perps, suspects and things. So, hey, Melissa, I'm so glad you know about this. So many people don't know, or they do, but it just got quiet for so long. And I have my own, suspicions about possibly why. But we'll definitely go through all of that. But I was just telling folks that the reason this case just really struck my heart or just kind of, pricked my heart was my daughter is the same age. My daughter's a month older than Faith. And my daughter went to neighboring school, NC State, while Faith was at UNC Chapel Hill. My daughter's best friend was part of a sorority that Faith rushed the evening before she died. So I know that she is going to be able to kind of just give me some idea of, what it was like on campus, those kinds of things. But I'm very excited to talk to her soon. But I'm just going to give you a little background. I'm just going to start. What I do is I like to write out my own synopsis, and I'm going to call this one a synopsis plus. It's a little more info, but that's kind of how I like to do it. And the first thing I want to do, if I can find the one I'm looking for, I had it pulled up, but I knocked myself out of StreamYard. So I'm going to have to go dig for the 911 call again. I really would like to start with that, but I'm not sure that I can find just the call interrupted at this moment. So I'm just going to, move forward. But let me give you a synopsis. So Faith was born September 26, 1992. She was a sophomore at UNC Chapel Hill. She had taken a semester off in high school. Faith was a very good student. She was actually awarded the Gates Millennium, not sure exactly how it's worded, scholarship. And if you don't know what this is literally the Bill and Melinda Gates. It's a scholarship for, I want to say basically like minorities, and she was indigenous. She's Native American. She's part of the Halawa-Saponi, I think it is. Yes, Halawa-Saponi tribe. So she wanted to be a doctor, and her goal was, at least, at the time she was still in school, she was studying biology, and she was there on a biology scholarship. She wanted to become a doctor and move back into her community and serve her own people. And I just have chills. Like that's an amazing thing for anybody to go and give back where they came from and where they know it's needed most. So love that already about her. I've looked around. It's hard to find anybody really say anything bad about Faith. She was liked. She was very popular, those kinds of things. Her parents were Roland and Connie Hedgepeth. She, like I said, she had taken a semester off. She had like a little bit of an academic probation the beginning of her sophomore year. So she took the other half of that year off to get herself together, get herself back on track. And she was very excited going back to school in the fall of 2012. So what happened, I'm just going to go ahead and do my little synopsis. She was basically beaten to death. I've heard the R word thrown out. Hi, if you're just popping in. I've heard that word thrown out, but basically the reports I've read in the autopsy say that she was SA'd. There was semen around the body, possibly on the body, not inside the body. She was in her bedroom that she shared with one of her besties and roommate. And that person is named Karina Rosario, or Rosie, as a lot of people called her nickname, who was 20. At the time of the death, Faith was 19 years old. So they lived in an off-campus apartment, and this was a safe area. It wasn't a high crime area. Hey, hippie sissy, how are you? Thanks for joining in. This is a North Carolina case, so definitely, close to my heart. But thank you so much for joining. So they lived in an off-campus apartment, room 1502. There was no surveillance video at all, anywhere outside the apartments. She was born in North Carolina. As I said before, she's Native American, part of the Halawa-Saponi tribe. She was awarded the scholarship. She waitressed at Red Robin at the time of her death. I heard she had another part-time job also. So she was responsible. She did want to be a doctor, as I mentioned before. So basically, let me just break down what happened. On September 6th, there was a rush event. This was at 6 p.m. And we're going to do a whole timeline of this case separately. But I'm just going to give you my synopsis. So there was a rush event. This was Alpha Pi, if I'm not mistaken. And that was at 6 p.m. So she went to the rush event. Sometime between 8:30 and 9 o'clock p.m., she went to the Davis Library, which is on campus. That's the UNC Chapel Hill Library, the Davis Library. This was between 8:30 and 9. So after this, I haven't gotten a specific time. I've seen conflicting info on this. But after they studied for quite a while, it says around midnight, they get back to their apartment, change, and they plan to go out. So they're going out to a club called The Thrill. Now, The Thrill is a place that under 21 can go in. It's basically a college club. You can go in and dance, that kind of thing. So they were getting ready for that. Remember, Faith was 19, and Rosie, who I'm going to call her, we can call her Karina also. That's her first name, but she was 20. So they are shown by security footage and surveillance cameras arriving at the club around 12:40 a.m. So we've gone on to the next day. We're at September 7th. Okay, Lala. So we're on to the 7th. Now, these videos were not released for a while. I'll touch on this later, but the SBI actually came in, and they're the first people to go and start gathering not the FBI, they did come in, but the SBI started going around to different places and asking for surveillance footage. So 12:40, they arrive at the club. Sometime within an hour and a half, they're seen departing at 2:06 a.m. So sometime within that time, Rosie gets sick on her stomach. She says that she has a stomach ache. She's not feeling well. So they decide to leave. Okay, seen on the footage walking out, and I'll show you all of this as we progress. Seen on the footage, Rosie walks out. I'm not going to say anything about that. I want you guys to see it before I discuss my thoughts. And not far behind her, she's talking with people. I want to say maybe a couple of guys or a guy and a girl, not positive, but not far behind that, Faith is walking out with a guy, and they're talking. And again, I'll let you see that yourself to kind of decide your thoughts on how that looked. Okay, so 3 a.m. Now, if you look at the timeline before, I should just go through this, but I want to point this out quickly. If you look at the timeline, they leave for the club around 12:30-ish, I think is said. So it doesn't take them long to get to the club. Now, they are seen leaving at 2:06. They don't get home until 3 a.m. So there were possibly some stops on the way. Hey, Akasha, so glad you're joining us. Okay, so 3 a.m. they arrive back at the apartment. The next thing we know is around 3:30 a.m. Faith texts a guy who is Rosie's ex-boyfriend, or not necessarily ex, but someone that she's been seeing. So I'm not sure if you would actually consider him an ex. I don't know if they were still seeing each other, but I'll tell you names and things as we go. But Faith texts and basically says, hey, Rosie's in a bad way. Like, she really needs you right now. At the same time, Rosie is calling this young man. So the next thing we know is 4:25 a.m. Rosie has called a guy to come pick her up. He can't. So she reaches out to another friend. 4:25. Okay. It's also said that when they got home, Rosie did get sick on her stomach, or that's what she has said. 4:25 a.m. She is picked up by a second male friend that she called. She leaves the door unlocked. Faith is asleep in bed. The next thing we know, 11 a.m. the next morning, Rosie returns to the apartment. She's called a mutual friend of the girls named Marisol. Saw a Dateline special on this. Definitely interesting. Yes, it's nuts. But she calls a mutual friend named Marisol. Marisol picks her up at the guy's apartment that she had been with the last several hours, and Marisol drives her to the apartment of herself and Faith. Let me point out, Faith, this is a temporary housing for her. She's living there. She's bunking with Rosie, but she's moving out. Like, it's not a permanent thing. I think they went into it knowing that this is not a permanent fix. It's just like right now while you're, getting established. Hey, Broken Justice, welcome. A little tea for my voice. Okay, so 11 a.m., Marisol and Rosie arrive at the apartment. 11:01, the 911 call comes in. I'm going to play this for you. Basically, the call is saying that I think my friend's unconscious. I'm going to play it for you. But basically, there's a 911 call at 11:01 a.m. Okay, so let's talk about the findings. Just from the 911 call, and again, you'll hear some of these things, but Faith was found face up. She was hanging partially off the bed. Her black t-shirt had been pulled up over her head to cover her face and head. There was semen collected off of, I know for a fact, things around the body. I'm not sure yet. There's just conflicting info, but not positive if there was anything on the body. It is said there was no semen collected inside the vaginal cavity. Okay, next thing, what they presume is the weapon. It is a Bacardi peach rum bottle sitting nearby, within sight. It's not hidden, nothing like that. It has dried blood on it, and after they study it, there's actually human tissue on the bottle. So they consider this the weapon that possibly bludgeoned her to death. There was also, very interesting, and this could explain the time lapse on the way home. There was a local restaurant that stayed open very late, or possibly 24 hours, that had biscuits and things like that. So after kids' clubs, sometimes they would hit that on the way home, get a biscuit. So there was a bag, and I'll show you the photos. There was a bag from Time Out Restaurant laying on top of the bed, to my knowledge, and it did not have a speck of blood on it. So this was definitely placed after whatever took place. And it had a specific message written on it. So that was laid out, and it said, "I am not stupid." And it also had the words "bitch" and "jealous" written on it. Now, they're not written in a pattern where it looks like "I'm not stupid, jealous bitch," or you know what I mean? Oh, sorry. Disclaimer, there's going to be a little bit of language. Sorry. First time, guys. Sorry. But it basically says, "I'm not stupid," and then also has two other words, and I'll show you that. I found a version of it. It's hard to see in most photos, but I found a version where they amplified the ink a little bit so you can really see the words. So we go again. Let's talk about cause of death. They are assuming at this point blunt force trauma because she's covered, but once they uncover her, it's obvious that, she had contusions and openings and bruises and scratches from head to toe. She had dried blood under her fingernails, all kinds of skin. She definitely fought and struggled 100, without a doubt, because she had evidence under her fingers. Now, they were able to develop a DNA profile from everything that they gathered, the semen, the things under the fingernails, those kinds of things. And there's interesting points to this case that we'll bring up as we go. It just, y'all, it's crazy. So I'm just going to read some things that's like the synopsis. I'm going to read some things to you now that I want to discuss, things I want to bring up, talk about, that kind of thing. So at some point, a friend of Faith turned in a voicemail from Faith's phone. Basically, it was a call from Faith that came to her. Now, this apparently Faith was notorious for butt dialing, and it would go to voicemail sometimes and go for a long time. This is what the friend thought. She woke up the next morning. She saw this long 8-minute voicemail from Faith and thought, she's butt dialed me. She deletes it. Okay. Once she realizes that Faith has been murdered, she goes to the police and says, "Hey, I had a long voicemail from her. I didn't realize what it was. So, I deleted it, but it could be something." So they work with the phone company. They retrieve the records. Y'all, this voicemail is unbelievable. Without seeing the professionals that have analyzed it and taken background noise away, things like that, without seeing some of the words that will come up in this, I can't hear certain things. I know they're professionals and they're trained to listen for certain things, but the words that I can hear, it's frightening. It is frightening. And I, for the life of me, can't understand why this was, sorry, let me close this out so it's not dinging on us. There we go. Can't understand why it was almost considered, basically it's considered inadmissible right now. Let me tell you a little more about it. Okay, what it captured was haunting, an obvious struggle with faith and duress. It is also obvious that 3 other people are present with Faith during this call. The timestamp on the voicemail is 1:23 a.m. The issue with that is the surveillance video from the club shows that the girls were still at the club during this time. So could that call have been made from the club? We saw Faith walk out, okay. But once you hear the call, for me, it's like once I hear that voicemail, there's no way this girl's walking anywhere afterwards, probably. But again, we'll get to all that. So the time is 1:23. So, again, that would mean they're at the club. Could that time have been recorded inaccurately? We know that technology glitches. There's so many things that can happen. It's also said, and we'll talk about this later on, that the type of phone she had was like known for that, known for getting timestamps wrong. And I don't know what model of phone that is. I've just heard this over and over. Let's see. Okay, so experts have studied. The police decided that the voicemail would not be considered as they deemed the timestamp correct. So during the timestamp, Faith was still alive. This is why they've kind of put this piece of information on a shelf. All right, now let's talk about a couple of people. There is one guy, Eric Jones is his name. He was an ex-boyfriend of Rosie. Rosie dated him. Folks said he's very controlling, had a temper, that kind of thing. Faith actually helped Rosie go. She drove her to authorities to help her take out a restraining order on him. He threatened to kill them both at different times. Just did not, I think, care for Faith because of, she was a sounding board and how the girls have that friend that's like, you don't deserve that. Don't put up with that. The guy always, they don't like that friend. And same way with guys and girls. I know guy friends will talk about with their guy friends, females that they feel like aren't good for their partner. So I think there was a few girls in their little clique or group of friends that wanted Rosie away from him. So he lived in the apartment with Rosie until they broke up. He moved just across the way in the same apartment. So he still lived close by. He kicked the door in a couple of times. There were just a few reasons that, they were frightened of him. So trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to say about him as far as the things he did. I don't think so. So anyway, he posts a very random text right before the murder. He's sliding girls and he's basically asking forgiveness for anything that he might do. He also posts a weird text a couple of days after the death. And that's why people were really, honing in on him. So here's the kicker. Police thought this is probably open and shut. This might be easy. His DNA did not match the semen on the bed or the stuff under her fingernails. So he, they basically cleared him. Now, on the audio voicemail that we'll listen to, you can hear 2 different guys and 1 girl speaking other than Faith. So there's 4 people on this audio. And you can hear clearly the words Eric and the words Rosie, those 2 names called. So let's keep moving. All right. Also, another guy, Brandon Edwards. This was the guy that at 3:30 in the morning, Faith texted, supposedly, allegedly. This was the guy that Rosie had been kind of seeing. And while Faith is sending this text, Rosie's calling him over and over and over. So she wanted him to come over. So, interestingly enough, on the 5th, so the day before the rush and the library and going to the club and all that, he had slept over that night. Reports say that he slept on the couch. So he was also in contact with both of the girls when they were in the club. To my knowledge, he was not in the club. Also, interesting point is at 3:35, a Facebook post from Faith was posted. So whoever's holding her phone, whether it's her or someone else, made a Facebook post and then texted Brandon Edwards to say, hey, Rosie's not doing well. Like, she really could, use you right now. And I think it ended with, please show her you care. So, yeah, ask him to come over because Rosie really needed him. Her last text to him was at 4:16 a.m. and this was the last time her phone would be used. Brian Edwards was also not a match for the DNA. I've seen conflicting reports, but the most accurate thing I've seen is that he did not respond to either of them until after, the next day had gone on and until like 4 o'clock. And he replied to Faith's phone and said, who is this? So, okay. Want to talk a little bit about Faith. So she was in contact with and spoke with multiple people at the Thrill, at the club that night. And they say that's very common for her. She's sociable, popular, likes to talk to people. She liked to party, but, was for the most part a good student. And she really had her head back on. She was studying the night, before she went, or writing a paper, actually, before they went to the club. Oh no, are you okay, Incognito? That's all that matters. Your car, we can replace that, but just want to make sure you're okay. I'm so sorry. I hope you're okay, honey. And no worries. It's very calm here. So just let me know you're okay. Okay, so anyway, Faith was a popular party girl. She was social, and they say folks liked her. She just had that personality. Guys were drawn to her. She was very attractive, very pretty. So she talked to several people that night, was in contact with them either through phone or while she was at the club, or both. And all of those people were spoken to, some questioned. Basically, all of them were ruled out. Because, just because you're talking with someone, and I knew that would be part of the investigations, going through her communication, going through her social media, seeing who actually did she talk to on a daily basis? Who did she talk to just a few times? Because, at this point, we have no idea who this could be. So the FBI did come in about a month or so after to help police with building that whole profile, helping with the investigation. Their analysis and profile said basically that the killer definitely knew Faith, may have lived very close to her, and probably watched her at some point. So from that, it's like you almost feel like, was he a voyeur? Was he just a stalker type person? Was this a serial killer? Was this someone she knew in her everyday life? We don't know yet. Incognito, I'm assuming that you are okay, and that's the most important thing, but we're sending you love and peace and just holding you close today. I will message you after this and see if there's anything I can do to help you. So sorry that happened. It's awful. Okay, so I want to talk about the DNA profile, what they started to build. Anytime you build a DNA profile, what you're building is probabilities. You don't, yes, you have their full DNA, but you don't have every single thing. They'll put out sometimes a profile and say, this person could have this color eye, this person could look like this, that kind of thing. So they're building probabilities for suspects. They determined that the suspect was Latino, or possibly a mix of Native American and European, which that's me. A lot of us are. I just don't have, the olive skin and that kind of thing. They said more than likely black hair, olive skin, brown or green eyes. So we know they're probably hitting right. They're probably looking at the Latino / indigenous / so on and so on. So here is what I've built and what we'll go through and discuss. Here's what I've kind of built as my, you say DNA profile and probabilities. I started my list like off the bat, and I always do that. I just write down the suspects. I won't say they're in any major order, but there might be some subconscious to this. Number 1, Rosie. She was, right now, specifically based on these 2 points alone, she was the last to see Faith alive, and she discovered the body. That right there, you're going to be questioned. That right there tells you, all right, I'm going to be in the hot seat. And I think any good department would, not assume, but again, like that's a big thing. Last person to see her alive, person to discover her. She also left the club sick. She didn't feel well in her stomach, but within an hour and a half of getting back to the apartment, less actually, she was ready to leave again, and she wanted a guy to pick her up. Hey, Durf, how are you? Hope you're doing well, honey. We're in the thick of it. So things like that are what, made me definitely consider her. Also, the note that was left on the bed, you can see clearly, and the authorities agree that this was written by a female. It doesn't look like a male's writing, and these are based on handwriting experts' reports. She also, when she left, she said they only had one key. They shared a key. So she left the door unlocked when she left with her guy friend that picked her up. She just walked away, left it unlocked. Girl sleeping in an apartment by herself. Yeah. Okay. We'll get off Rosie for a second. Let's move to a second option. Faith was attractive, popular, went to multiple parties. Maybe someone was frustrated that she didn't give them, the chance they wanted. She was a sorority girl, or trying to be a sorority girl. So, in that sense, it might be a serial type killer stalker, just someone that kind of saw her but didn't really have access to her. So that was one of my thoughts. Number 3, a partner, someone she knew, someone that knew her, day in and out for the most part, or just someone that she was intimate with before, someone she communicated with enough to know things about her, or enough to even have developed feelings for her that she may not, have returned. That person would probably appear in her phone, in her social media. So those were my initial, that was my 3 thoughts, was just that, okay, here are what just jumps out at you. And that's kind of what I wanted to go through today. Just the beginning, tip of the iceberg, getting the few facts out that we know. Roommate maybe jealous. Exactly. Well, and the note did say, I'm not stupid. And then it kind of said bitch and then jealous. I have a couple theories on why that's written the way it's written. So we'll definitely go through those. But yes, a lot of people have said and speculated that Rosie or Karina may have been jealous, especially when it came to them maybe talking to the same guy, which possibly could have been our little sleepover guy the night before all this went down, Brandon Edwards. So the interesting thing to me was Faith had Brandon Edwards in her phone, in her contacts, listed as B, just B. So that kind of tells me maybe she didn't want anybody to know if B just popped up, who she was talking to. But then again, that's speculation. We don't know. So, but if you have a roommate and I don't know if Karina slept in Rosie's bed all the time, like if they shared that room together, or if if she was in another room. But either way, she was in Rosie's bed when she was killed. That is where she was found. And the blood, all the blood in the room definitely suggests she was killed there. They say it was everywhere, a bloodbath. So one of my other thoughts was the liquor bottle that was used. It did not break. Initially I was like, well, you know, a guy could probably hit hard enough to break it. A female maybe could not have enough strength to break it. But my son brought up a great point today. He watched some videos on liquor bottles, and there are certain ones, especially like Crown Royal. I'm not sure about the Bacardi. It was a Bacardi rum peach, and it's one of the more cylinder type bottles that has the neck. Y'all, those bottles can be indestructible. He sent me a video where people are like nailing a nail into it. They slam it on multiple things. It is unbelievable. The bottle will not break. So what we read was certain types of glass, when they're rounded and curved, as they start to set up and cool, that's like a reinforcement. It makes them really, really strong. So that kind of, you know, knocks out my theory of, would it have broken it if it had been a guy using it compared to a female? So we'll see. Yes, roommate. And many people felt that way, Broken Justice. Many people said, you know, the roommates are really sticking out to me right now. Another thing about the roommate, when you hear the 911 call, and I may go ahead and just play that today if I can find the solid one that doesn't have other people, you know, other people's commentary in it. But yeah, it's just the 911 call is a little, I'll play that so we can hear it. But let me give you any other quick info that I want you to know before we move on. Okay, so 9 years, 9 days, I think, later. Yeah. Which was last year, September 16th, 2021. An arrest is made in this case. Someone, State Crime Lab tested DNA recently, got the match. He was not a student at Chapel Hill, but the investigation still has not been closed. So his name is Miguel Enrique. I think it's pronounced Salguero Olivares. His last name is hyphenated. He is now 28 years old. They both were 19 at the time of the murder. So there has been an arrest now based on the semen on the bed. Yeah. So very interesting. You know, we'll cover all these things deeper and deeper, but his own mother has basically came out, and I don't think he's made a statement. The boy hasn't talked to my knowledge. Well, he's not a boy now, he's 28, but the mother has publicly spoken out and said, this is not my son. He would never do this. You know, she doesn't deny that his semen was there on the bed. But see, that's what's hard for me. If the semen was just there, how do we know? You know, the reports do say that she was assaulted. So that could have been many things, though. Many things. It did not look like she was raped, is how it was stated. So yeah, interesting facts, lots. And I'm telling you, when you hear the 911 call, and then when you hear the voicemail and watch like what the authorities think or what the professionals and the experts think that they're deciphering from this video, y'all, it's heartbreaking. So let me just go ahead. I'm going to see if we can pull up the 911 call. And I know you won't be able to see it, but I'm going to play it so that you can hear it. Actually, I think I can just be smart, like Lala said, and do this from my phone possibly. So let's see if that works. Anybody? Let's see. Looks like there's 3 people watching. If anybody else is watching incognito version, then I won't know. But does anybody have any questions at this point, just about anything that I've said or put out there? That contact is giving me head. It's always one every day. It never fails. turning on my little speaker because I want you to be able to hear this a little better. Okay, let's see here. Let me just get this call pulled up. Kind of wanted to do it on my computer so you could hear it really well, but okay, I think we've got it. No, that's not the one. I don't want to play someone else's content. You know, that's not like a news station or something like that, because I just don't think that is nice. Sorry, guys, give me 1 second. No questions. Okay, hippie sissy. Yeah, y'all, this gets so crazy. I had the best version pulled up. It just went straight through and no breaks. So that was really nice to find. Sorry for all the clearing. My allergies have been a wreck for about a week now. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm going to give her credit. I'm just going to click on, oh, here we go. Can you hear it?
Durham 911, where is your emergency?
I just like to sleep. I think my friend is like to be unconscious.
Okay, what's your address, ma'am?
I live at home at this view.
Give me the address.
Let me know real quick. Can you guys hear this? Is it garbled at all? Since it's coming from my little Bose speaker, I just don't want it. I don't want it to be something you can't hear. I'd rather pull it up on my computer if it sounds yucky. So if someone will just let me know real quick, and I'll just keep playing it if it's good. Okay, perfect. Thank you, hippie sissy. All right, here we go.
I just moved here. I'm not scared. Oh my God. It's 639 Old Chapel Hill Road in Durham.
Okay, repeat it to me so I make sure I've got it correct.
Okay. 639 Old Chapel Hill Road.
Okay, what's it?
1602.
1602?
Yes.
What's the phone number you're calling from?
201-321-8075.
Okay, you say your friend is unconscious?
He's unconscious. I just walked in the apartment and there looks like there's blood everywhere.
Listen to me. Somebody's already sent in the ambulance. Okay, I need to get some information from you, and I'm gonna tell you how to help her. Okay. Okay. How old is she?
She's 19.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't want to touch her, but
listen to me. Is she breathing?
I don't know.
You need to check and see. Is she breathing?
I don't think so.
Okay, listen to me.
There's blood everywhere.
There's what?
There's blood everywhere.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
Okay, is she on her back or is she laying on her stomach?
She's on her back, but like I think she fell off the bed because she's like off the bed. There's blood all over the pillows, like in the comforter. I just don't know what happened.
Okay. All right, listen to me, all right?
Is someone coming?
Yes, I've got somebody coming. I need for you to help her. I need for you to go up to her. We need to see if she's breathing or not. Okay?
I think so.
Okay. Listen to me. Go up. The paramedics are on their way. I want you to stay on the line. I'm going to tell you what to do next, all right? Are you right behind her now?
Yes.
Okay. Listen carefully. Listen. She's not moving. Okay.
No.
Will you touch her arm? How does she feel?
It's not moving.
Okay, ma'am, we need to find out if we can help her or not. You've got to, do as I'm asking so we can help her. All right? Okay, if you can, lay her flat on her back. Remove any pillows.
Lay her flat on her back.
Flat on her back. Remove any pillows.
Okay.
Okay. Kneel next to her, look in her mouth for food or vomit. Okay, kneel next to her, look in her mouth for food or vomit. Tell me something. Listen to, what is your name?
I'm sorry, I'm really.
It's okay, honey. It's okay, honey. Listen to me.
No.
Okay, all right. Listen to me. When you touch her, how does she feel? Does she feel warm?
No, she feels cold.
She feels cold? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Don't touch anything else, okay? Don't touch anything else. Okay, they're on their way. I've got police on the way to you, and I've got medics on the way. Okay? Okay. What room is she in?
She's in my bedroom.
Okay, I want you to go back into the living room, okay?
I
You
don't
need to go
know
in.
what's going on.
Okay, listen
There's stuff
to
in my
me.
room that was not here before.
Okay,
It looks
listen
like
to
someone
me.
came in here.
Okay.
It really does.
All right, what did you say your name was again?
Here. Because.
Okay, okay, listen to me. Don't touch anything else in the room. I want you to leave that room, go into the living room. You need to make sure the door is unlocked so somebody can get in, so the medics and the police can get in when they get there. Okay?
It's unlocked.
Okay, now come again.
Here though.
Okay, they're on their way, honey. They're coming as fast as they can. You just stay on the phone with me, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me again what your name is.
It looks like someone has been in there because she's not like the cell. I don't know.
Okay. I've let them know. We've got everybody on the way to help you. Now, tell me again what your name is.
What?
What is your name?
Karina Rosario.
Karina?
Yes.
Okay, Karina. You sit down on the couch and don't touch anything, okay? You just sit
I'm
down.
not touching anything.
Okay. I just want you to sit down because the police and the medics are gonna be there. They're coming just as fast as they can, all right?
Okay.
You just stay on the phone with me, okay? You just stay on the phone with me.
Are you sure there's something?
Yes, ma'am. They are on their way.
I just can't believe this. There has to have been in there.
Okay. We've got first responders on the way, there's fire truck coming, there's a medic coming, and the sheriff's department's on the way to you.
Okay.
You just stay on the phone with me until somebody gets there with you. All right?
Okay.
Okay, Karina. How old are you, Karina?
I'm 20.
You're 20? Okay, hon. You're doing all right. You're doing all right. You just stay on the phone
I see
with
the
me.
police.
You see the police?
Yes.
Okay. You let me know when they get in there with you, and then you can talk to them, all right?
Okay.
I just don't want you to be alone right now.
Okay.
Okay? You just stay on the phone with me.
Okay.
Are they in there with you? They coming in?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, hon. All right, bye-bye.
Okay, guys, I would love to know your initial thoughts in the comments, and then I want to ask a few questions. But that was 7 minutes and 44 seconds of a 911 call. I had some immediate red flags, but I'm really interested to see if anyone else has some. What are your thoughts on it? If someone wants to come up on panel, you can come up. If you just want to drop comments, that's fine. But we might do some up and down. But I would love to know your thoughts in the comments just based on hearing that call. And then I want to go through and we'll just break it down a little bit. We can do that today. A little bit of that. We'll really deep dive on the 911 call probably tomorrow. What I want to do is cover this case for maybe like a week or two, and then we'll, revisit it. But the big thing for me is I like to establish timeline, and then I like to look at each suspect, each piece of the evidence as it has been released. The call, trying to think, the voicemail that was left on the other friend's phone, I don't even think that was released until 2016, so like 4 years after. But don't really know how to feel, my opinion only. I was more distraught when my dog got hit by a car and she lived. Hippie sissy, great point. There's been some conflicting opinions about that. And I agree. I would expect a person to almost be screaming, and I'll be honest with you. If I personally went in and found someone, I would probably run back out. I would be scared to death someone was still in there. I would be afraid that I could mess up evidence. I just don't, I have to think about that. If it were like my mom or one of my sisters, yeah, I'm going to want to go to them and check. But there's just so many little things during this call that jump out to me. Let me tell you the first one. There were 2 girls in that apartment. 2 girls discovered her together, Rosie and Marisol. So why is there no mention, even when the 911 operator says, I'm going to stay on the phone with you so you're not alone? You never hear anyone in the background crying, screaming, saying, oh my God, what is going on? Like, I think I would immediately be like, I need someone right now. Like, oh my God, I think she's dead or she's unconscious. Or I would be like frantic. Everyone's not the same. So maybe maybe we just handle things differently. But that was a huge thing to me. Secondly, the whole thing about not saying, my friend and I just got here. And the reason that I should have mentioned this a little earlier, but the reason they went back to the apartment is because Marisol and Rosie were trying to reach Faith that morning and she was not answering. And they had class. So Marisol said, I'll come pick you up. I'll take you to, back to the apartment to get Faith, and I'll just drop you both at camp, or that way you don't have to ride the bus. So that was another thing. Why does she never say? Why do you never hear anyone else? Speculation says that Rosie did not make that call, that Marisol did. And Marisol was interviewed at some point. I'm going to share that with you guys. It does sound like Marisol, especially when Marisol cries in the new interview, when her voice is weepy, it sounds like her. It also, to me, would make more sense if it was Marisol, because yes, her friend's been murdered, but she would be more detached from the situation than Rosie. One of my theories is that they came in and Rosie was like, I can't even talk. Maybe she's hysterical, and she convinces Marisol, make the call on my phone. Just tell him you're me. Just get him here, whatever you got to do. So that was also one of my thoughts. Anyone else want to weigh in on just initial thoughts on the 911 call? And then we'll kind of go back and like break some of the points down as we go. But I do agree with you, Hippie Sissy. I think I would be so distraught that it would be hard for me to even get words out. Another thing was, like, people brought up the fact that she did not want to touch the body, did not want anything to do with that. And that makes sense to me in a way. And then in a way, it's like maybe the caller knew that she was dead. Maybe she just already knew and she didn't want to get back, into And this is all allegedly. I'm 100% not accusing anyone. And I don't believe that Marisol was involved in this. I think that she came in and made that 911 call to get authorities there. And I could be wrong, but I don't have a voice comparison for Rosie other than the troubling voicemail video. And it's so hard to hear certain things. And I think it's just hard to get a good read on that. But all right, if no one else has any initial thoughts, then I want to kind of go back and let's just do a couple of things here. So let's start the call.
Durham 911, where is your emergency?
I just like to sleep. My friend is like to be unconscious.
Okay, so she says, hi, I just walked into my apartment. Weren't the roommates friends? No, they lived off campus. This was an off-campus apartment, and it was in a good area, not a high crime area at all. This was in Durham and not far from campus even, like literally right outside campus. So they were not assigned roommates. They weren't in a dorm any longer. And these girls were friends. Rosie and Faith was only bunking there until she got permanent residence, is my understanding from everything that I've read. So this was supposed to be a temporary situation. But here's the thing too, guys, and we'll discuss this, but you can be friends for a long time, but when someone actually comes into your space, you learn more about them, they get on your nerves more, things like that. So, just another little thought when it comes to things like that. And, girls can get very competitive even with their best friends, especially if a guy's involved. So those are the things that kind of, stuck out in the very beginning. So what she says is, hi, I've just walked into my apartment and I think my friend is unconscious. That's basically, in a nutshell, what she says. She doesn't say, oh my God, I just got home, there's blood everywhere. It's like, I think my friend's unconscious. So I used to dispatch. I used to be a 911 dispatcher. And if I'd gotten this call, I would have proceeded exactly like the dispatcher did, because she has no indication that there's any kind of troubled scene, that there's blood everywhere. Not yet. The first thing the girl says is, I've just walked into my apartment, not we, but I, and Marisol did go in with her. She confirms this during interviews later on. But I just walked into my apartment and I think my friend is unconscious. Now, this girl's hanging half off of the bed with a t-shirt pulled up over her head, and there is blood everywhere. So I just don't know why someone would just assume unconscious. But there again, I didn't experience what the caller experienced at 19 or 20 years old. So I don't know how I would have worded or reacted. We don't know. And that's the hard part. The unknowns are what's difficult. But we can definitely make some assumptions and draw some conclusions by the all the evidence that is out there. So, okay, let's listen to the next little blurb.
Okay, what's your address, ma'am?
I live at home at this view.
Okay, here. She announces the name of the apartment. She does not give the address immediately. Did she not know the address? She says in the call that she doesn't know the address. She'll have to go get it. Okay, so I can see maybe a 20-year-old not knowing their address. Maybe. The problem I have is that, she gives the apartments, but she says in the call, I just moved here. That's not true. I don't know exactly how long she was in the apartment, but she lived with Eric, her ex-boyfriend, in this apartment before Faith ever moved in. Hey, Donnie, how are you? We're doing our first true crime case, so pull up a chair and jump right in. But yes, that, you know, these are important facts, I think. So yeah, I want to get your thoughts, and feel free to chat. I love to see your comments as we're going along. You know, if you have those. All right, let's play the next little bit.
Give me the address.
I just moved here. I'm about to get it.
Just moved here. I'm about to get it.
Oh my God. It's 5639 Old Chapel Hill Road in Durham.
Okay, repeat it to me so I make sure I've got it correct.
Okay, right here when the 911 operator says, repeat it to me so I make sure I've got it correct, you see a pause. She has to go back, look at it again. Apparently, I feel like she's walked away from it or something. Pause.
Okay.
Okay.
5639 Old Chapel Hill Road. It's
Okay, what's it? 1602?
Yes.
What's the phone number?
It sounds like she says 1602, the 911 operator. It was actually 1502. I want to hear that again for 1 second. Guys, I appreciate you being here so much. I've wanted to dive into this, and I'm so excited there's a few people here just wanting to dive into. Hey, Donnie.
Repeat it to me so I make sure I've got it correct.
Okay. 5639 Old Chapel Hill Road. It's
Okay, what's it? 1602?
Yes.
What's the phone?
Okay, see right there, the operator says 1602 and the caller says yes. She knows she doesn't live in 1602. Just making sure I'm all caught up. Okay.
Number you're calling from.
201-321-8075.
Okay, you say your friend is unconscious?
He's unconscious. I just walked in the apartment and there looks like there's blood everywhere.
Okay, right where she starts to say it looks like there's blood everywhere, the operator does not hear that part because she's trying to direct her. So she doesn't hear this time. This is the first time she says there's blood everywhere. She doesn't hear this. She's speaking at the same time.
Okay, listen to me. Listen to me. Somebody's already sending me ambulance. Okay, I need to get some information from you, and I'm gonna tell you how to help her. Okay. Okay. How old is she?
She's 19.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't want to touch her, but
Listen to me. Is she breathing?
I don't know.
You need to.
Okay, so how do people feel about that? I'm just curious. If this were your roommate, your sister, your mom, someone that you've spent, you know, countless hours with, you've taken home to meet your family adores also, like, how would you guys respond? Would you say, like, I don't want to touch her? And again, how do you know she's just unconscious? The t-shirt is pulled up over her head and she's hanging off the bed. You can't even see if like the chest is rising and falling in that position. So just curious if there's any thoughts there. If anyone has any, anything I may have not thought of regarding that. So I'll continue, but if so, comment and I'll stop and we'll go back to that.
To check and see, is she breathing?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay, listen to me.
There's blood everywhere.
There's what?
There's blood.
Hear the 911 caller? That's the first time she heard there's blood. She says, there's what? That changes things. And we learned that in our training. You know, you always kind of, if you can triage the scene and know what's going on first in any call, that's kind of what you need. Because number one, yes, you want to help the victim, but you also don't want to send someone into something that's going to make them a victim as well. So I'd grab her to see what was happening. I'd try to help at least check pulse. Thank you guys. Thanks. This is exactly like the kind of banter that I want to do through this. I want to know, like, what would you have done differently? Or if you think this is exactly how you would have acted. Because again, you know, this is all in my opinion. Yes, we're using case facts, but we're going to talk some alleged instances. So, you know, I don't want to just throw my opinions out and not look at different details or opinions. I really want to get a male's opinion. I've made my son like look at a little bit of this stuff because he's well, at the age now where he'd be graduating college if he were in a 4-year school. But I wanted a young male's opinion also. So that's been, pretty interesting to listen to, get his thoughts. Okay, let's go back to the call.
I don't think so.
Okay, listen to me.
There's blood everywhere.
There's what?
There's blood everywhere.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
Okay, so that changes everything. The 911 caller's like, okay, now I'm dealing with something different. I agree. You could be in such shock, and especially if this wasn't Rosie, if this was Marisol, not expecting this, walking in. I don't know who entered the bedroom first. I would assume it's Rosie because it's her room. We don't know that. I don't know the facts of that. So I think she sounds all wrong. It is interesting because I just feel like if I walked in on a scene like that, I would be hysterical. And if I saw that blood, I would definitely assume that someone was dead. So yeah. All right. Let's keep going. And right here, right before I stopped, the caller says, I don't know what happened. Okay, let's keep listening. Working at the prison, I saw lots of bloody scenes and death. Ditto. Handled it how I was trained. When my hubby cracked open his head, I freaked out. Yeah, especially if it's someone you know and you think they could be possibly very, very injured or close to death. I mean, wouldn't you be like trying everything you can think of to see if they're alive and possibly resuscitate them, which is what the 911 caller was trying to get her to do? Different reactions based on relationship, I think. I agree. I think I'd run out of room to phone. Yeah, and see, that's the other thing. I don't know if I believe the caller was in the room during this whole conversation. She may have gone in and out. She may have just said, I'm not going back in there. She definitely didn't pull her up on the bed or pull her to the floor and like lay her flat on her back like the 911 caller suggested. She's saying okay to her direction, but she didn't do those things. Hi, Amuse. How are you? Welcome. Okay, let's jump back in. I'm going to go back a hair because of where she said, I don't know what happened.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay, listen to me.
There's blood everywhere.
There's what?
There's blood everywhere.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
Okay, is she on her back or is she laying on her stomach?
She's on her back, but I think she fell off the bed because she's off the bed. There's blood all over the pillows, in the comforter. I just don't know what happened.
Okay. All right, listen to me, all right?
Is someone coming?
Yes, I've got somebody coming. I need for you to help her. I need for you to go up to her. We need to see if she's breathing or not. Okay?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So, the 911 caller here or 911 operator here is directing her. I need you to go up to her. This 911 caller needs to know if this girl is alive this much, because if so, there may be a chance. And that is exactly how you're trained, is if you can save that person, get in there and save them. So that's what we're directed to step people through. I mean, there's flip books. You get a call and it's kind of crazy. Some of it you have to kind of go on your training and intuition, but there's also like scenarios. And this was a long time ago. We had charts and it's like, okay, if it goes to this place, you just flip. And it's like, okay, these are the things you need to focus on right now. And, you do it so much, you just kind of know in situations. But in the beginning, I can remember having calls and I would like flip to this. Okay, we're at this point. all this is forgotten now. You need to move here. So I do understand why she is directing her the way she is. Late, I've heard this case before. Interested in all opinions. We'll listen to the full thing again tomorrow. It's nearly bedtime here. Bless you all. Bless you, Janet. Thank you for showing up. I definitely appreciate you. So anything else we need to mention before going forward? Has anyone heard anything? Amuse said, sounds fake already. Yeah, I mean, people have very mixed emotions about this 911 call. Very.
Listen to me. Go up. The paramedics are on their way. I want you to stay on the line. I'm going to tell you what to do next, all right? Are you right behind her now?
Yes.
Okay. Listen carefully. Listen. She's not moving. Okay.
No.
And will you touch her arm? How does she feel?
She's not moving.
Okay, ma'am, we need to find out if we can help her or not. You've got to, do as I'm asking so we can help her. All right? Okay, if you can, lay her flat on her back. Remove any pillow.
Lay her flat on her back.
Flat on her back. Remove any pillow.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this is noticeable to me just because, and I'm not saying it's a thing. I'm just saying it's noticeable. In this sentence, her voice changes from the nasally, like, okay. And then she goes, lay her flat on her back. Did anybody else notice that? I'm probably like, I've listened to this 1,000 times. I'm probably overanalyzing it. But I just noticed at that moment, maybe she's contained herself. Maybe she's really trying to like go over, look, touch, especially if it's Marisol and not Rosie, because I'm still not, I'm not convinced that Rosie's not involved in this somehow. So I just thought that was interesting, the little bit of the voice change there. So either she's contained herself or the act that she was portraying is, the mask is slipping a little. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying these are options, but hear that again.
Flat on her back.
Flat on her back. Remove any pillow.
Okay.
How does she feel?
She's not moving.
Crying.
Okay, ma'am, we need to find out if we can help her or not. You've got to, do as I'm asking so we can help her. All right? Okay, if you can.
And see there, she's very reluctant. It's like the 911 operator is coaching her, like, please, we need to know if this girl is alive. And, you hear her softly pause and say, okay, like that. So I'm not saying I would want to touch anyone in this, and again, that is why maybe it could have been Marisol, because she may be more detached. She don't live with this girl. She don't sleep in the same bed with her. They don't do, so many things all the time together, even though Faith and Marisol knew each other and were friends. This was a group of friends. So just interesting, though, that if it were her, she may not want any part of this. She just may be like, I don't want to be anywhere in that room. I'm just making the call. So unfortunately, she got herself into it by agreeing to drive Rosie home and both of them going into the apartment. And again, nowhere on this call do you hear a second person in the background crying, wailing, screaming, being just off the chain, upset. You don't hear a peep, like you don't hear another person at all. If I walked in and one of my friends was unconscious or dead and there was blood everywhere and another girl was with me, I'd be like, oh no, we stick together. You don't leave my side. Like we stand here together, united until they get here. You would want that support. So it's still just so strange to me that it's never mentioned that my friend Marisol and I, or just my friend and I just walked in. It is never, ever, not one time during the whole entire call mentioned. So any thoughts on that before I move forward? Also, since you're thinking about that, that, hey, I'm not alone. Think about this. Not one time in 7 minutes and 40 seconds did the caller ever say Faith's name. Not one time. That to me is like the most serious form of detachment. Like, I don't want part of this. And sometimes we subconsciously will do that. You know, we'll try to detach without it being noticeable. But she did not mention Faith's name one time. She didn't say, you know, this is someone that's been living with me lately or been staying here. Her name's Faith. Not one time. That to me is crazy. Why would you not speak your best friend's name and roommate's name? Yeah, this was her roommate. She knew her. Yeah, she was, Faith was found in Rosie's bed, dead and bludgeoned to death by a liquor bottle, a Bacardi peach rum bottle. Yes. So it gets so much crazier, guys. It gets so much crazier. This is just the 911 call. That's all I wanted to do the synopsis and cover this part today. But this is just the 911 call. Just wait. All right. So let's finish kind of depicting this. Okay, Hippie Sissy, you said, wow, you're right. Tell me what you're agreeing with, just because I said so many things just now. Are you talking about the 911 call and her not saying her name? You got peach rum. Well, apparently one of the girls in the apartment liked it. But yeah, the peach rum bottle was literally sitting right there in the scene. You could tell it had blood on it. Once they examined it, it had human tissue, like tissue. But yeah, she never ever says her name, not one time. And I think that would be important if you knew the person. I would think you would say, hey, you know, I left Faith here. And I, you know, I mean, I just feel like you would in some way speak the victim's name. Maybe I'm wrong. But, you know, usually when people call, they'll be like, my wife, my girlfriend, my brother, my whatever, my mom and dad, whatever they say, they identify themselves with the person. Now, she does say my friend. She doesn't say my roommate, but she doesn't say my friend Faith. She just says, you know, I just walked into my apartment and I think my friend is unconscious. And there's a bloodbath, y'all. There is a bloodbath. So yeah, very interesting. But if you have any thoughts or comments on that, please let me know.
Lay her flat on her back. Remove any pillows.
Lay her flat on your back.
Flat on her
Okay,
back.
that's the one I was talking about. Right there, the voice change. Does anybody else see that? Does the operator not ask her name? She doesn't. She doesn't say, you know, do you know who the victim is? She doesn't ask. She doesn't ask. And no one divulges that info. And I'm sure when the police got there, you know, and ambulance got there, I'm sure things were different. I'm sure, you know, it's like, who is this to you? How do you know her? Da, 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 da. How this girl ended up in your bed, bludgeoned to death. So, yeah. What I think is so interesting, though, is this could have been the setup of, like, the perfect crime. Because you have semen that's not inside the body. It's near the body. What if this guy was framed? You know, what if he was just there 2 days before and left a little specimen? And, you know, I don't know if they can tell how fresh things like that are. I don't have any idea in that type of science. But these are things that crossed my mind when I first, you know, started looking at this case, is how do they even know that that's even connected to this murder? I don't know if they do. No, this girl, now I've not been able to find boo on her. What I've been told is that she left school, lawyered up, and she has not spoken publicly since. No one knows where she is. She does cooperate with police when they ask. Those are the things I've been able to find out about her. That's it. She disappeared. And I don't blame her. But no, they have found the culprit by matching his DNA, and he was arrested September 16th of last year. So 9 years, 9 days. And, but they haven't closed the case. So I think they obviously know there's more than one person involved. All right, I'm going to play a hot minute of this for a second and just let you hear, even if it's parts you've heard, the more you hear it, the more you notice things. But play this for a second while I take a little potty break, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm just going to rewind a tad.
You've got to do as I'm asking so we can help her. All right? Okay, if you can, lay her flat on her back. Remove any pillow.
Lay her flat on her back.
Flat on her back. Remove any pillow.
Okay.
Okay. Kneel next to her. Look in her mouth for food or vomit. Okay. Kneel next to her. Look in her mouth for food or vomit. Tell me something. Listen to me. What is your name?
I'm sorry. I'm really
It's okay, honey. It's okay, honey. Listen to me. Okay. All right. Listen to me. When you touch her, how does she feel? Does she feel warm?
No, she feels cold.
She feels cold? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Don't touch anything else. Okay? Don't touch anything else. Okay. They're on their way. I've got police on the way.
Okay, guys. Had to rush so I could stop here. Disassociation by trauma, home, is there such a thing? Very possible. And that is something that, I definitely want to discuss, is that she could be disassociating. Again, I feel like it's that if it's Marisol calling, pretending she's Rosie, because it's Rosie's house, it's Rosie's apartment, Rosie's room, temporary roommate, it all comes back to Rosie. So what if Rosie, I'll give you all my theories, but quickly I'll just say, what if she needed someone to go in with her, help her find, and then she falls apart because it's her roommate. And she's like, please just make the call. You can pretend, just tell them you're me. I just can't do it, So that was a thought. But yes, definitely, I think disassociation by trauma, that's probably an option. Now, here is what she just said. Go back.
What is your name?
Okay. Now, this operator, I think somewhere I made ticks, but I don't know where that paper is. But several times during this call, ask, what is your name? This caller avoids that question at all costs.
Look in her mouth for food or vomit. Okay. Kneel next to her. Look in her mouth for food or vomit. Tell me something. Listen to me. What is your name?
I'm sorry. I'm really
It's okay, honey. It's okay, honey. Listen to me. Okay. All right. Listen to me. When you touch her, how does she feel? Does she feel warm?
Okay, so we're about 4 minutes into the call. This is the first time that she has said the name Karina, that she's actually answered the question, what is your name? Usually, you almost establish that in the beginning of the call. We know she's her friend. We don't know she's her roommate. We don't know how close they are. I mean, they, at this point, other than her saying, I walked into my apartment, you wouldn't even know that it's her apartment if she hadn't said that. You would just know that, hey, I just found my friend unconscious. So, but yeah, if they're together, and supposedly that's the story, that Marisol picked Rosie up, and that is true, drove her to her apartment. They were going to just check on Faith, make sure she was awake because they had class soon. Faith and Rosie had class, and Marisol said basically, I'll just drive you guys. That way you don't have to catch the bus to get there. And, since she's not up and you don't have as much time, that's the story I've gotten. So, but yes, why do you not hear two girls in this call crying, upset? Why don't you even hear someone in the background? Why does the caller, you never hear him speak to another person? But there were two of them. So, yeah, a little crazy. Again, too, with the name thing, she did not want to say the name Karina Rosario. She did not want to say it. I can tell in the way the person's talking. She avoids it at all costs.
Karina, I'm sorry. I'm really
It's okay, honey. It's okay.
And she doesn't say Karina, we're sorry. She says Karina, and then she goes, I'm sorry, I'm really trying.
I don't know.
Okay, all right. Listen to me. When you touch her,
See how she doesn't
when
say
you
the
touch
whole
her, How
name?
does she feel? Does she feel warm?
No, she feels cold.
She feels cold? Okay. Okay, all right. Don't touch anything else, okay?
Okay, really quickly. Timelines establish that when a person passes, it takes several hours for them to actually feel cold. So we'll look at timelines as we go. They both would be screaming, I agree, I agree. Especially if you have that support person to be upset with. Why would you do this on your own? Why would you make this call on your own? Why? Unless, again, maybe Rosie was like, I can't do this and ran out. You know, she's like, I need you to take care of this for me. Who knows? I don't know. But it sounds like Marisol was a good friend because she was like, I'll come get you. I'll take you guys to school, you know, that kind of thing. So again, and Marisol not only cooperated, she gave an interview on, I want to say, a television show. So we'll look at that and you'll get to see Marisol, meet her, kind of know her voice in the interview. And then, you know, a lot of people have compared the two. Unless Rosie sounds a lot like Marisol, these voices are very similar. Very, very similar. Okay, so let's trying to think of what we just heard, anything else we just heard that I wanted to go back over. Rewind just a tad again.
All right, don't touch anything else, okay? Don't touch anything else. Okay, they're on their way. I've got police on the way to you, and I've got medics on the way. Okay? Okay. What room is she in?
She's in my bedroom.
Okay, I want you to go back into the living room, okay? You need to go in.
What's going on? Like,
Okay, listen
in
to
my
me.
room that like was not here.
Okay, she says, I think something's going on. She says, there's stuff in my room that was not here before. So I have a hard time with that. It's like, why is anyone trying to establish on a 911 call that should just be about the victim? Why are you trying to establish that, you know, someone was in here? Well, obviously someone was in there. Obviously someone was in there because there's a dead girl and there's blood everywhere. So I don't know. It's like, what is she trying to establish or get out there quickly?
Or
Okay, listen to me. Back into the living room, okay? You need to go in.
What's going on? Like,
Okay, listen
there's
to
stuff in
me.
my room that like was not here before.
Stuff in my room
Okay,
that wasn't here
listen to
before.
Someone that came in here.
I think someone that came in here.
Okay,
It really does.
It really does.
all right. What did you say your name was again?
Here. Because
Okay, I don't.
Did you hear that? What did you say your name was again? She doesn't answer again.
Okay, I don't. Okay, listen to me. Don't touch anything else in the room. I want you to leave that room, go into the living room. You need to make sure the door is unlocked so somebody can get in, so the medics and the police can get in when they get there. Okay?
It's unlocked.
Okay, now come in again.
Here though.
Okay, they're
I'm
on
gonna
their
go
way.
back
They're
just
coming
a
in.
second.
The room that like was not here before.
Okay,
It was
listen
like
to
someone
me.
that came in here.
Okay.
It really does.
All right, what did you say your name was again?
Here. Because
She avoids the
Okay,
question.
I don't. Okay, listen to me. Don't touch anything else in the room. I want you to leave that room, go into the living room. You need to make sure the door is unlocked so somebody can get in, so the medics and the police can get in when they get there. Okay?
it's unlocked.
Okay, now come in again.
Here though.
Okay, they're on their way, honey. They're coming as fast as they can. You just stay on the phone with me, all right?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me again what your name is.
It looks like someone had been in there because
Second time in less than a minute that she avoids the name question.
not like the cell. I don't know.
Okay, okay. I've let them know. We've got everybody on the way to help you. Now, tell me again what your name is.
What?
Third
What
time.
is your name?
Karina Rosario.
Do you hear the operator, how frustrated she is? What is your name? I mean, I know she's not angry. She's probably thinking, okay, this person is freaking out, but I got to establish a few things. So she is literally, her voice sounds weird. She's lying. Donnie, very possible, very possible. Or she's pretending to be someone else because she wants to be helpful in this situation and it may not be helping. But just, I can tell the 911 operator maybe even is starting to think in her own mind, like, why am I having such a difficult time getting this info?
Are you?
Karina?
Yes.
Okay,
Go
Karina.
back a
What?
text.
What is your name?
Karina Rosario.
Karina?
Okay, there she says Karina Rosario. So again, you know, a lot of people called Karina by her nickname, which is a, you know, a nickname off of her last name. Rosario is Rosie. So a lot of people called her Rosie.
Yes.
Okay, Karina. You sit down on the couch and don't touch anything. Okay, you just sit
I'm
down.
not touching anything.
Okay, okay. I just want you to sit down because the police and the medics are gonna be there. They're coming just as fast as they can, all right?
Okay.
You just stay on the phone with me,
Okay.
okay?
Let's talk about that. You know, you can stay on the phone with me. This operator is basically, this is at the point where she's comforting because she wants her to know she's not alone. You know, I know you're young. This is a horrible thing to experience. I'm staying right here with you until someone gets there. Not one time does the caller say, my friend is here also. Not one time. Which is why I have such a hard time with thinking that Rosario or Rosie or Karina made the call. I think maybe Marisol tried to be a good friend to her and, you know, make the call. But if that's the case, I don't know why she wouldn't have just said, you know, my name's Marisol. I just brought my friend back to her apartment and our friend is dead, or, you know, our friend's unconscious or dead. I don't know why she wouldn't have done that. But if Rosie convinced her, hey, or if Marisol said, I don't want to be involved at all. You know, I know I showed up here, I brought you home, but I don't want my name in this or whatever, you know. I don't know. There's many ways that could have gone down. But that's just, again, that's just an alleged thought that I've had is maybe she convinced her. You know, maybe she fell apart, fell to the ground, like, I can't do it. You got to call. Just pretend you're me, you know. And maybe she's fetching addresses and things as the operator's asking questions. We don't know the truth of that. And it bothers me so much that there is not one bit of video surveillance outside of these apartments. These are student apartments, but there's not one video camera to be found to see who went into that apartment when and who came out. And there's one way in and one way out. Okay, I'm going to go back just a hair.
The police and the medics are gonna be there. They're coming just as fast as they can, all right?
Okay.
You just stay on the phone with me,
Okay.
okay? You just stay on the phone with me.
Are you sure they're coming?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you sure
They
they're
are
coming?
on their way.
I just can't believe that someone had to have been in there.
Okay.
Okay. Again, I just can't believe this. And then she says, someone had to have been in there. Again, of course someone was in there. There is a murdered girl in there. And they're literally like, I've only seen a few photos, and I think those are honestly sealed for the most part. But people described it, or investigators described it like it was a bloodbath. There was blood like splatter, but then in big sections also. A huge pool of blood under her head on the floor. So she definitely bled from her head. There were, gapes, like contusions where she had been hit with that bottle. Whoever called wouldn't. They say my friend's here. That's what I would think. I would say in the beginning, my friend and I just walked into my apartment and my, whatever, my friend, my roommate, whatever, the first thing I would have said is, oh there's blood everywhere. Like I wouldn't have said, hi, I think my friend's unconscious. I would have said, there is blood everywhere. Like something bad has happened in here. But instead she says, I think my friend's unconscious. So just red flags everywhere on this. So we're getting close to the end of the call and back up a tad.
Are you sure there's something?
Yes, ma'am. They are on their way.
I just can't believe that no one has to have been in there.
Okay. We've got first responders on the way. There's fire truck coming.
Like, does she say that to say, it wasn't me here? Someone had to have came in the unlocked door that I left unlocked and, went in my room and did this to her? Is she trying to establish that during the 911 call? And if so, that's fishy to me. Why do you need to establish who did this during the 911 call? Why not just say, there's blood everywhere. I'm very concerned for my friend. I don't know if I can touch her on my own, but I need someone here quickly. Like, those would be my thoughts. I'd be screaming. I would too. I think I would be just out of my mind. And two girls there, you'd think you'd hear somebody in the background bawling. But for some reason, these girls either separate during this call or the one in the background is just very, very quiet for some reason. So, yeah. But just the establishing of, yes, someone definitely had to have been in there. Why? Why is that so important to say right now? Why is what your thoughts are about what might have happened important during the call? That's kind of, that's off-putting to me a little bit. Twice as loud. Yes, exactly. I think I'd be so hysterical that the 911 operator would have a hard time understanding me. I think I would be that hysterical, but maybe not. Maybe we could walk into a bloodbath, see our friend hanging half off the bed, not moving with something covering her head, and just think she's unconscious. I don't know, guys. I don't know. That's hard for me. Okay. As always, I back up a tad.
Ma'am, they are on their way.
I just can't believe that no one has to have been in there.
Okay. We've got first responders on the way. There's fire truck coming. There's a medic coming, and the sheriff's department's on the way to you.
Okay.
You just stay on the phone with me until somebody gets there with you. All right?
Okay.
Okay, Karina. How old are you, Karina?
I'm 20.
You're 20? Okay, hon. You're doing all right. You're doing all right. Just stay on the phone
I see
with
the
me.
police.
You see the police?
Yes.
Okay. You let me know when they get in there with you, and then you can talk to them, all right? I just don't want you to be alone right now.
Don't want you to be alone.
Okay. You just stay on the phone with me.
Okay.
Not once does she say, oh, thank you so much, but my friend is here also. Like, we came in together. Why? Why doesn't she say, is it because it's Marisol, calling for Rosie, and Rosie is literally either out of the room, or maybe Marisol's the one not in the room. Maybe she's outside making the call, or, at the front door or something making the call, and who knows? And if so, then where is Rosie, and what is she doing during this time? I love seeing all you guys be so nice and sweet and chat to each other. Just does my heart good that we can all be adults here.
Are they in there with you? They coming in?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, hon. All right, bye-bye.
So yeah, 7 minutes and 40 seconds of, I think my roommate's unconscious, never mentions her roommate's name, never says there's another person there. Just so many details that I would think would be like, not that it's important necessarily to the case, but important in the way of why are these details left out? You would think it would be normal conversation, like, yes, we just walked in, but for some reason that was brought down and changed to I. Don't it, right? It's like, even when it's just an accident with, your kid or your spouse or a friend or something, you're like, oh my God, are you okay? You're frantic. And to me, this sounds like sad, not frantic. And maybe, again, like Amuse said earlier, maybe it's like a kind of a trauma dissociation. Maybe that's a real thing. I thought about that kind of thing. Maybe she's just in shock right now. Maybe she is literally just like going on whatever's in her head. Like, I know I need to make this call. And then maybe she doesn't, maybe she's not even thinking after that. You know what I mean? Maybe it's like, I got to do this. I got to get this out of the way. Maybe she's just like put blinders on and she's like, get through this. So there are many reasons why this could go in a different direction at some point. I'm not 100% convinced that the Miguel Enrique, I think it's pronounced Salguero Olivares, not 100% convinced that he SA'd her. One thing I thought, there's not even anything connecting him and Faith ever. Someone says they could have been at the same party once in the neighborhood, but he was not a student. He did not go to the university. He just lived there, and they lived, not right on top of each other in different buildings and things. To me, that would have to be thought out. Yeah. It's like, how do I, present this? How do I stay calm and get this out without giving away too much, incriminating myself or someone, that kind of thing. But anyway, I'm not convinced that he was even a part of this. It's going to come down to me for the analysis. I mean, they've arrested him because his DNA's in the house. Okay, let me bring up something really important too. This is so huge, y'all. If there's a bloodbath in a room and you kill someone, how do you get out of that room without trace evidence of blood anywhere else? How do you do it? I can think of one way, and that is changing in that room, putting those clothes into a sealed bag, changing, showering, whatever you have to do, putting on fresh clothes, and then taking those clothes with you when you left the scene. You'd have to do it in that room. Anywhere else, bathroom, anywhere, you would have trace evidence. So how did the person get out without one piece of trace evidence in any of the rest of that apartment? It's all contained to that room. It was Rosie's bed. Maybe he and Rosie done the deed. And why was Faith in Rosie's room? I'm not sure if Faith had to sleep in the bed with her. I don't know if Faith actually utilized another bedroom. Haven't been able to establish that. I've seen conflicting views, which is why I didn't want to say until I feel like I know for sure. But yeah, bagging everything. That's what I think. But what if they took all those clothes off right in the room, bagged them up? What if there were multiple people in that room? What if there were 2 or 3 and everybody's clothes went into a bag and that evidence left with one of those people that left? Thought about the window. There was no trace evidence, or, did not look like the window was still locked. So didn't look like anyone could have gone in or out of it that specific night. So yeah, that is a huge, huge point to me is, and okay. And they also say there is even DNA evidence of this person, Miguel, in other rooms of the house, but no trace evidence of blood or any of Faith's blood or anything like that. Like, how does that happen? Also, again, guys, it's not clear. It doesn't say she was R'd. It says she was SA'd. possibly by the murderer. We don't know if it was by the murderer because there was not DNA inside of her. And they couldn't establish for sure that anything was. They think something was. But they just said obvious, like, abuse. And if that, now I'm not sure, but if that is going back to semen being on bedclothes, then good Lord. And we're talking about college kids, y'all. There could be 3 or 4 people's probably on there. Yes, if there was blood everywhere, you would be covered too, especially if you're the one doing the, or holding her down, restraining her in some way, you're going to get blood on you. So, yeah, there's a lot of unanswered questions. Tomorrow, we're going to tackle the voicemail that was left on a friend's phone from Faith's phone. Faith was notorious for butt dialing accidentally. Her mom even said she did it all the time. But there was an 8-minute voicemail recorded on a friend's voicemail. So once she realized what it was, she never heard it. She deleted it immediately because she was like, oh, there's Faith leaving me 8-minute voicemail butt dial. But so she deleted it. Once she found out Faith was dead, she went straight to the police and said, I got an 8-minute voicemail from her. I don't know if it means anything, but, I wanted to tell you. So they had the phone company retrieve it, and y'all, it is unbelievable. I'm not sure. I feel like the voicemail was part, like it was her murder, possibly. It's bad. Either way, anyone in the room will be covered. I agree. There's just no way to do that without, especially if it's splattered everywhere in the room, but, how did they get out? Even their shoes would have had to come off. So everything could have gone in a specific bag and been destroyed. We don't know. Could have been one person's clothes, multiple people. We don't know. We don't know. Splattered, definitely. It was splattered everywhere. Shh. No. Sorry, guys. I was hoping that would not happen during the live. Okay, sorry. Everybody's like excited. Snack time. But yeah, so I hope that you guys are interested enough to join me again tomorrow. I want to go through the voicemail. This is going to open up a whole new can of worms about what could have possibly happened to Faith. I'll go ahead and warn you, there's some graphic parts of it. It's difficult to hear without words on the screen from professionals. I would not know what a lot of it said. But at this point, Faith's own parents have even heard of they've heard this voicemail, and they say, yes, that is Faith's voice. We know her voice. They also know Rosie's voice. And Faith's dad says, yes, this is Rosie in this recording. And, you can go listen before time, but yeah, please do some digging on your own if you want to and come back here. That way you've got more, things to prick my brain and make me, I'm never that type of person where I want everyone to agree with me. And the reason is typically when someone goes against what you're saying or they have a different viewpoint, that is what kind of entices you to go down a different avenue and look and see, okay, is this really an option? So I like the opposing viewpoints and things like that. But yeah, this call, you hear Faith in the call yell out, ow. She also says one time, get off of me. There are, it's brutal. And the dad's like, that is my daughter's voice saying, ow, like in a high pitched, different than what she was talking. That is her, he says, being attacked. And he says, that is her saying, get off of me. So yeah, it is crazy, y'all. Puppy, what did I miss? Oh, you heard the dogs. Yeah, there's 4 of them. They're little, they're not ankle biters, but they're all little seniors pretty much now. One of them's bordering senior, but I've changed my mind so many times. Yeah, it's easy once you're presented with more evidence. And here's the thing, this case came out, it was sealed almost immediately, so no one knew anything, including the parents. They didn't know about the note that was left. Let's see if I can show you that real quick. I may have to try to share my screen, but I'll be able to do this tomorrow for sure. But, you know, there's just all these things that never came out. So not until 2014, 2016, when they started doing these analysis of the voices and things like that, did other theories pop into play. So, you know, one of my thoughts was, even though the semen DNA did not match Eric, but one of my thoughts was, did Eric Jones, was he angry because he felt like Faith was like the final nail in the coffin for the end of his relationship with Rosie? Guys, come on. Oh, I see why. The big cat's down here, so they're fussing at him. But you know, was he still angry from that? Is that why he possibly could have been involved if he was involved? I mean, that would definitely be some motive if he was angry to be a part of it. And you know, there were a few folks that have said that, you know, now that they've been cleared, of course, they had to look at past boyfriends of Faith, people she was seeing, you know, currently. One second. Sorry, trying to get that little tickle out of my throat. But basically, I kind of want to stop, I think, close to this point. I'm going to see real quick if I can show you the note. Oh, thank you, Incognito. I hope you're okay, honey. We're all sending you love, and just, I know it's a tough spot to be in, but don't stress, okay? Don't stress. Just as long as you're safe, that's all that matters, Incognito. Okay, so let me figure out now if I can share my screen. I do want to show you the note that was left. It was written on a, what they think is a white fast food bag from Time Out. And the girls did stop there on their way home. Y'all, I'm just having a contact debacle. I'm so sorry. They did go there on their way home. Okay, let's see. Share screen. Let's see what I'm trying to show here. All right, I'm just going to show this whole window, I think. Oh, y'all. Sorry. Let's do entire screen. Why I wanted to do that. There we go. Okay, so for a second, I think my whole screen is up. Can everybody see what I'm working on over here? There we go. That. Okay, so here is the note, and I think this is the amplified or enhanced version. All right, can you see that? Let me see if I can make this bigger. There we go. Okay, see this where it says, oops, I'm not stupid. And then right here it says the word bitch. And then right here it says the word jealous. This was left at the scene on the bed, but did not have one speck of blood on it. So was this written beforehand and then placed there? Was this written after the fact? Was this written before the murder? Like a, you know, message to people messaging each other back and forth on this, you know, on this paper bag? What was it? But yeah, this is blurred out. Sorry about that. Let me show you. I don't think this one is blurred. And this one is not as amplified, but let me kind of show you this one. Okay, yeah, I'm not stupid. See the P right there? Handwriting analysis says that this is written with the alternative hand, not the dominant hand, and also says this is a female, this P. They're like, this is a female writing. And then you have the word bitch and jealous. One thing I also thought was interesting, people were confused about how the words were displayed. Experts have also said this could possibly be two people writing this note. So the I'm not stupid almost looks like it's written in one handwriting. And then these two words, bitch and jealous, look like they're written in another handwriting. So, yeah, definitely. Well, they could have written it before, but it been in a different place. You know what I mean? It could have been premeditated, in other words. It could have been written before the murder, like someone wrote it to Faith saying, I'm not stupid. And maybe she went back and wrote, you know, bitch. Here's something that I thought was pretty interesting was I'll show you a couple of pictures while we're in here. Okay, this is Rosie and Faith. This is Karina Rosario. This is the roommate. This is also Karina and Rosario here. I think, or Karina and Faith. This is Faith, and I think, gosh, that's small. I'll figure out why these are saving so. Oh, come on. There we go. Yeah, this is Rosie and this is Faith. Now let's see if I can get my screen back. Okay. X out of that. If I can. There we go. Okay, so I'll show you a couple other things. This is the guy arrested. This is Miguel. His name just never sticks with me because the last name's hyphenated. Miguel Salguero Olivares. This is him here in his mugshot. So he's 28 here. This is Marisol. This is Marisol, who was with Karina Rosario when she found the body. That's her. And we'll also cover an interview tomorrow that she did. So you can hear her voice. Let's just see if there's any other. I think that's it for right now, but okay. Just get out of that. There we go. All right. Oh, looks like we still have a few people here. So any questions, any thoughts before we head out of here today? Anything you just want to mention? Anything that, you know, popped in your brain that you think might be an interesting fact for us to look at or interesting thought for us to consider? No. And that's perfectly fine. I don't know if it's still sharing my whole screen or not. I don't think it is, but hopefully not. But yeah, those are most of the things that I wanted to point out today. And we'll be on tomorrow. We're going to go through the voice analysis of the voicemail. I'll play it for you guys, and then we'll go through a couple of different voice analysis, some with words, some without. I think there are things you can hear clearly. I think there's a lot you can't hear clearly. So that's why the experts took it, removed as much background info as they could, and you just hear, you do hear a song, and we'll talk about that too, but you just hear, you know, mostly voices and some music. You don't hear bottles clanking in a club like they would be. You know how they throw them in a trash can or something? You don't hear that. You don't hear other people talking. You don't hear like other conversations. You just hear these four distinct voices. So it's pretty interesting to me that the police kind of said, let's shelf this because the timestamp says it's, you know, 1:26 and they were at the club then. So y'all, technology can glitch. I remember the case barely. It's semi-local, but the bad with messages about all I remember, I guess, because it's so old. Yeah, it's from 2012, and only last year did they get this DNA match. So, you know, mom of the person that was arrested, mom of Miguel, has spoken out and said, this is not my son. He's, you know, he's just not this person. Not that he wouldn't go and sleep with one of the girls, but that he would never, you know, and I mean, a lot of moms and dads say that about their kids, but I find it interesting though, that he hasn't publicly like made a statement. His attorneys haven't come out and just said anything. So one of my thoughts initially was, once he was arrested, was maybe he was really enthralled with another girl that was mad at Faith, and she had him help her do this little favor, you know, And okay, that brings me to another thought. We also need to see, how is Miguel connected to anyone else in Faith's life? If he's not connected to her, is he connected to someone else? Like another guy friend, a girlfriend of Faith's, those kinds of things. Has Miguel spoken? No. An attorney hasn't even spoken out for him. His attorney hasn't come out and said, boo. So, and that's only been like, what, 4 months? November, December, January. Yeah, it's not even been 4 full months since he was arrested, y'all. So once that arrest, took place, I started visiting again and going, we really need to look at this, because this just doesn't completely add up. And I believe the police, that's why they haven't closed the case, because they know that there's so much more. No barking, please. But anywho, any more questions you guys can think of for today? I'm so excited that folks are getting into this case, because I think that justice has not been served. Obviously, he's not even been to trial yet, but he was denied bond, so I know he's still incarcerated. But yeah, I just think it's so interesting, and there's so many factors that we think they're not considering. Maybe they are. I'm always interested to why they completely will seal a case not long after. I know there's certain things you don't want out, but as a parent, I'm telling you, police, they would have a very difficult time with me if they kept everything from me and didn't give me something. I would not be their favorite person. And I'd probably be there every day saying, what are we doing? What's going on? You need to tell me things so that I can do some of my own, detective work. I would be that parent. No problems, Wolfie. We're actually heading out soon, but no problems, honey. I hope you get to watch the replay. I appreciate you stopping in. You're one of my favorite wolves. Hurrah! I'm a wolf, if you guys don't know. I'm a wolf. I'm a protector. That's what I do. But yeah, so if you can, meet me back here tomorrow. We'll go through more of the case, especially this voicemail. There's things out there you can find and hear it probably on your own. If you want to wait for tomorrow, then, we'll get together and do that. But you really are the protector. I am the same, Wolfie. I am the same. On my animal totem, wolf has always been the strongest and the most prominent. So I'm definitely a wolf, and have been from a very young age. I'm a howler for sure. Hooroo! I do it all the time. And, and ruled by the moon. So when there's a full moon, I have a hard time sleeping. So my family and friends know I'm usually off howling somewhere. Did I miss Incognito Voice? No, she did not come on panel today, and she was in a little bump up. Someone hit her car. So she's okay, but she's dealing with that. So she'll be around soon. I know one of my dogs, they're really good. Like, they don't normally poop, but Lord, they have gas sometimes, y'all. I'll get a whiff of it, and I'm like, good Lord, who's under the table? But anywho, let me just stop for a moment and pause and say thank you so much if you're here today. Thank you if you're watching the replay. I appreciate you. I hope you'll subscribe. I hope that you'll like the video to help my algorithms. And I hope you'll come back here and meet me again for more true crime. We'll definitely do some more cases. I want to focus on one at a time. So once we kind of cover this one, we can move on to something and then, jump back to cases as things develop in the case. But just wanted to show my gratitude for all of you. And as always, in any video that I do, I'm going to send you out like I do, and I'm going to say, be kind to everyone, guys. You don't know what people are dealing with in their own lives, and the ripple effect from that is so great. Sometimes you are the one person to turn that person's day, week, life, world around. So please be kind. If it's someone that you don't care about, be kind to them also. Make them come up and get it. Don't dumb it down, and don't jump in the pig pen with them. Be good, be good-hearted, and be genuine, be sincere out here. We need more of that. Oh yeah, Hippie Sissy. It is, I get chills now when I listen to it, because I feel like I know more about it, than the first time I heard it, but it's crazy. Thank you so much for stopping in. But anyway, guys, that's all for me today. Thank you so much. Unblock someone today. That's right. Unblock someone today. I don't really have anyone blocked except for bots. That's the only thing I have, only people I have blocked. But yeah, just go in peace. I'm sending you out with love and grace. Namaste, all my friends. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you. Thank you. Love you all. Bye.